So the Chicago Sky have just made 2 moves in the last 45 minutes that are crazy. That are absolutely crazy. And it has turned the Chicago Sky from the 11th seed to the 9th seed. But by me saying that, they still have cap space. As far as I'm aware, the Sky will still have cap space after this. And their team is going to be competitive. This is a Chicago Sky team that I think right now is on the outside looking in of the playoffs. But if they made the playoffs, I wouldn't be that surprised. First of all, we do know that they brought in Courtney Vandersloot. They brought in Courtney Vandersloot as a point guard who is very, very solid. She was a backup point guard for the Liberty last year, but the Liberty were insane. So the first thing that happened was that they got who I believe, the worst part about this is I believe they signed the perfect power forward if Angel Reese is center, and the perfect power forward if Camila Cardoso is center. They signed 100 times better version of Izzy Harrison. They traded for it. Beck Allen. And to get Beck Allen, they gave up next to nothing. They got Beck Allen for Lindsay Allen, who is, again, Lindsay Allen, Dane Evans. They've been trying to trade the two of them because they, as far as I'm aware, at the point guard position, they are wanting to run Mariah Jefferson. As reported before, they plan on having Mariah Jefferson backing up Sloot with Lindsay Allen and the rights to Milic. Milic is good. I genuinely think she's good. And if they want to go for the Team Europe in Connecticut, it could be okay. But they got Beck Allen. Beck Allen's really good. If you guys don't know, they were literally... Beck Allen was starting for the... she was literally starting for the Mercury while Sophie Cunningham was coming off the bench. And they got her for nothing. Basically nothing. 7.4 points, 3.9 boards per game. But for her career, she is a 36% three-point shooter, 39% from the field, a 6'2 forward. I don't think she's quite at the level of Sophie Cunningham, but they're similar. They're very similar level as a player. She just got hurt right before the Olympics. She had some decent games last season, and she was a bit more consistent than Cunningham. She did have a 17-point game and a win against the Liberty for the Mercury, which was huge. That was a massive win for the Mercury. She had 14 points in their first game of the season against the Aces. So, she was putting up some big numbers. 14 points in a win against Dallas. She was good last year. And she is a stretch 4. She can't, unlike, say, Cunningham, who can kind of play the 2, she really is a 4. Sometimes maybe can play the 3. But Beck Allen's really good. And by the way, how many times has Beck Allen has been traded? Since 2023. This is am I right in saying this is the 4th time Beck Allen has been traded? I think it's the 4th time she's been traded since 2023. Madness. But also, they managed to get themselves the wing shooting needed. I will say, I'm not going to gas this one up too much because, this is not a brilliant player. But, there is a but here. She's not bad. She's really not bad. And the player that they brought in Kia Nurse. They probably had to overpay Kia Nurse. And we have to take into account this to Chicago Sky. They play out of a rec center. You're not getting a free agent until the new facility's there. You are not getting good free agents to join playing out of a rec center on a bad team. Let's be real. It's a bad team playing out of a rec center. And Kia Nurse is a very solid free agent pickup. Especially because, look, in my opinion, Kia Nurse is better than Rachel Bannum. They're probably going to, with the number 3 pick in the draft, they're probably going to take Sonia Citron. So they're going to have Sonia Citron playing the 3, Kia Nurse probably at the 2, Sloot at the 1, and then their twin towers. And maybe Michaela Onyewere plays the 3 and Citron or Kia Nurse come off the bench. Maybe one of them come off the bench. Maybe Kia Nurse, because I think Citron does have that little ability to dribble the ball. I think she's got that ability in her. And for Kia Nurse is a former All-Star. Like, if you look at her, like, just stats for her career, Kia Nurse had seasons in New York where she was averaging like 13.7 points per game, made an all-star team. And then obviously was really poor at Seattle, averaged 7.6 points per game. Didn't shoot the three ball particularly well last year, but like there have been times in her career where she has shot the three ball extremely well. Ignore the bubble season. And she can go off. She had 20 something against the Fever when they played. But the thing is, like, she was just a bad contract previously. And I don't think she's this game-changing free agent, but what I do think about Kia Nurse is that she's a good player. She is a good player. I think you're probably looking, when it comes to Kia Nurse, you're probably looking at, say, them maybe overpaying for Nurse. Like, I reckon they probably have to overpay for Nurse. I reckon they probably have to overpay. I think they probably have to overpay for a lot of the free agents the Sky are going to get. I think they're going to have to give Sloot a near max, even though Sloot is not worth anywhere near a near max. But I do think that's what they're going to have to pay to get a Courtney Vandersloot. And I think Kia Nurse, I don't know what the money is. I think it'll be quite high. But I like it for the Sky. Like, look, you're not going to attract a top-tier free agent yet. Not yet. In 2 years' time for Chicago, maybe. But this helps keep Chicago somewhat competitive. A lot of people are talking about the Sky being like, oh, they should be trying to go into rebuild. They should be trying to tank. Next year, sure. Not this year. Not this year. They do not own the rights to their pick. So if they tank this season, all they're doing is giving the Minnesota Lynx a better pick. It is better for the Sky to be good and for the Connecticut Sun to be bad. Because I cannot believe in the Beck Allen deal, they didn't have to give up, anything as far as picks are concerned. They didn't have to get the rights back. I cannot believe that. And obviously, with the Lynx, they could end up giving the Lynx their pick as part of the Angel Reese deal, but if they're good, that doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter whatsoever if they're good. So that's the thing with this whole Chicago Sky season, is that, yes, you don't want to be too good because you're probably going to have to be bad again in 2027, but you don't want to get your players used to losing. Like, for the Chicago Sky, making the playoffs this year and missing it next year is going to be better. Like, that will be an ideal scenario for Jeff Pagliocca, is to miss the playoffs and just get in the hunt in that lottery, because 2027 is a stacked draft class, and there's going to be 3, 4, 5 players that are going to be good. And honestly, like, my top, like, Malaysia Full Wiley's not in the top 5 in that draft. And then with 2026, like, you're possibly going to get a lottery pick. It's going to be a high lottery, 4 or 5, more than likely from Connecticut. But with 4 or 5 next year, you're looking, there's Tania Latson, there's Lauren Betts. You can get your point guard for the future then in Kiki Rice. And then you can start to build. You can look for maybe a Hidalgo and move off Rice, or you can look for a, hopefully, fluke into a Juju if you do miss the playoffs in 2026. But I think that's more than likely going to happen, because it is not beneficial whatsoever for this guy to not make the playoffs this year. They don't have the rights to their own picks, so them losing games is irrelevant. And in fact, them making the playoffs means it's more likely that Connecticut get in the lottery, which helps them out. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.